What's good, you severely handsome devils? So today I'm going to be giving you guys the best settings for MW3. I'm going to be going over the Nvidia control panel settings to give you more frames. I'm going to be going over the controller settings, graphic settings in the actual game, and the other color customizations that I have on my system. All right, so I do play PC, so let's get into it. All right guys, so first things first, right click, go to your Nvidia control panel, let that bad boy load up. So this will be your display. I do have two of them because I do have an Elgato Pro in my PC. That's why I have two of them, but yours will probably just have one. So what I have on my brightness, I have it at 55. I did try out 60, but it really just depends on what monitor you have, because you can also actually change the brightness in your guys' monitors as well. So I have it at 55, contrast at 55, gamma, leave that at 1, digital vibrance, I have it at 50. I had it at 75 for a little bit, but then I felt like my eyes kind of were fucked up for a little bit because of the colors were so crazy. But you guys can definitely just mess with that a little bit. But yeah, I just bumped it up a little bit to have my quality a little bit more vibrant. So these are what I have Nvidia control panels for my color customizations. So one quick thing I want to make sure that you guys do is make sure that you actually click on change resolution, click your highest resolution, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people, they'll have like insane monitors, but they don't have the highest resolution actually selected. So make sure you click the highest resolution, refresh rate, make sure you have it on the highest one, because maybe you have a 144 hertz 240 hertz monitor and you're not even using it like a 144 hertz monitor, you know what I mean? And then you're gonna click on number 3, use Nvidia control. You're gonna click on this one, use Nvidia color settings. Make sure you just leave it on what it is right here. So I did manage to get a lot more frames by messing with the manage 3D settings. So this is what I have right now: image scaling off, ambient occlusion off, application controlled off, on, application controlled off, all, driver default off, G-Sync compatible off, auto select, normal, highest available, driver default off, allow, quality on, auto off, use 3D application settings 1 off, auto. So if you guys want to go ahead and pause the video and copy those, and then also under adjust image settings with preview, I do put it all the way to performance, and it does help get a little bit more frames. It'll squeeze out a little bit more frames, so make sure you try that out. All right, so now boys, let's hop into the actual MW3 game. So when you're on the game, let's go ahead and do the graphics settings first. So go over to graphics. So let's do the display portion first. So you need to make sure that you play on full screen exclusive. If you alt tab a lot and you have like multiple monitors, then you can do full screen borderless, but full screen exclusive will give you the most frames. Make sure you have the right monitor on, the graphics card you got, screen refresh rate. It should be auto, your max frame rate, but if you don't have it set in your Nvidia control panel like I was saying earlier, then you might need to change it in here. Display resolution, I play on 1440 because in Warzone it's fucking meta. You can see so much more. Aspect ratio wide 16:9, display gamma 2.2, brightness, so I leave it on 50 because like I showed you guys earlier, it is on a 55 in my Nvidia control panel, so no reason to mess with it in here. So for Nvidia reflex low latency, I do play on plus boost because it's supposed to give you a little bit more frames. And sustainability on this section, I just put it on custom, off, unlimited. But if you're getting stutters, just bad frames, then just cap it off at whatever your highest refresh rate is, so you don't get like stutters. And then focus mode, I just leave it on 100. I don't know what that is. So now let's go over to our quality. So you're gonna go ahead and click custom because we're gonna customize this to the max. So you're gonna make sure it's on 100% of your render resolution. Sometimes when you hop on, the game will just automatically take it down to 50. I don't know why it does that, but make sure it's at 100. Dynamic resolution off. So I use fidelity cast at 100% strength, but if you guys want more frames, then you could do Nvidia DLSS or another setting. But for me personally, fidelity cast makes the game look amazing. VRAM scale target, we're gonna keep that at 90. Variable rate shading off. Texture resolution very low. Texture filter anti-stropic low. Depth of field off. Detail quality low. Particle resolution very low. Bullet impacts, this is personal preference if you want it on or off, whatever you want to do. Persistent effects on, shader quality low, on-demand texturing streaming off. This will give you a lot more frames if you do have it on, so make sure it's off. Local texture streaming quality low. Now let's go to shadows and lighting. Shadow quality very low. Screen space shadows off. Ambient inclusion off, screen space reflections off, static reflection quality low. So for environment tessellation off, terrain memory max, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, weather grid volumes low, water quality off. Let's go over to the view section. So for the most aim assist with controller, you want to play from like 95 to 105, but I play Warzone and MW3, so I'm going to leave it on 120 because switching back and forth throws off my aim a little bit, so I just leave it on 120 just so I have better mind muscle memory, finger aim. My bad. ADS field of view affected, leave this on affected, don't use independent. Effective gives you the more aim assist. Weapon field of view, put it on wide so the weapon's smaller. Third person field of view doesn't really matter. Vehicle field of view doesn't matter. So world motion blur and weapon motion blur, make sure these are both on off. If not, you'll be fucking dizzy. Film grain, leave it on 0. First and third person camera movement, put it on at least 50%, because if it's not, then your camera's gonna be shaking a lot, especially with slide canceling back and a lot more movement in the game. Make sure this is at 50%. It'll just help your aim and game feel more fluid. Third person ADS transition, third person ADS spectator camera, just leave it. And inverted flashbang, turn this bad boy on if you don't have it on, because when you get flashed, the screen will turn black, not white, and it's probably the best setting that they've added. So now let's go over to the controller settings that you guys been waiting on. So I do play on flipped. I don't have digital triggers, so if you don't have digital triggers, I would recommend using your left bumper, right bumper. But if you do have digital triggers, then you could use your left trigger and right trigger, but that's up to you guys. Controller vibration, make sure that's on off. If you use that, you're bad. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to use this stick drift dead zone. So I put the left stick minimum dead zone on 0, and look at the stick. You can see it moving and jittering. You see it moving a lot. So you turn it off, and then you could bump it up one, turn on, and see, oh, it's still fucking up. So like, fuck, okay, let me bump it up a couple more, and then turn it on. Okay, it's done moving. It's done moving. So that means that that's the right dead zone for me. So I'm gonna leave it on 450. Just with the left stick max, putting it on 50, you could just have a more responsive stick, and the stick drift doesn't really matter on the left stick because you're moving with that, right? And you should always have your left stick like centered. And then the right stick, I leave it on 5. If you have a new controller, you can do like 3 or 4 or even lower maybe if you're fucking lucky, but I leave it on 5. I always use 5. Right stick max, I put that bad boy on 100. Left trigger and right trigger, if you guys have the digital bumpers like I was saying, you can put this on 0, but I don't, so I'm gonna put it on 10-10 because that's when my game doesn't automatically throw shit. So I leave it on 10-10. I have the Envision wired. I wish I got the Pro, but they're always out of stock. 6.6 is probably the best sensitivity that you could use if you're brand new to the game or you're a vet, if I'm being honest. So I would try 5.5, 6.6, 7.7. If you're on 10 plus, then that's too much in my opinion. Just find a sensitivity that you fuck with, like around 6.6. ADS sensitivity, leave that on 1. But if you do play on a sensitivity more than 10, then this is where you would put this to like 0.9, 0.85. But I have it on 1. Now down to the aim response curve. Make sure this is on dynamic. I've tested standard and it's really, really sticky, but dynamic allows you to snap better, like control your aim a little bit more better, and this is what all the pros use. So just leave it on dynamic. Sometimes people will mess with the ADS sensitivity transition timing. Just leave it on instant. Don't make it weird. Aim assist type, I know a big trend is make sure it's on Black Ops because that's more sticky, but I've tested both of them. Default's better, it's more consistent. Black Ops, sometimes I feel like I lose aim assist sometimes, so I just leave it on default. Now over to the gameplay settings. This is what's gonna make you a schmooming demon, all right? So automatic tactical sprint, I turn that bad boy on. I don't want to be spamming my left stick all the time. Auto move forward off. Tactical sprint behavior double tap. Granite mantle on. Partial off. Slide only. This is really, really important. It disables the dive, but sometimes I do get like a weird thing where my game actually does register a dive in. My guy will just fucking dive. I'm like, what the fuck? But they're probably gonna fix it soon, so I just leave it on slide only. Maybe I'll mess with tap to slide in the future for Warzone. Maybe if it's more viable, we're gonna have to see. But plunging underwater free, that doesn't really apply to this game because we don't have water yet. And then ledge climb behavior movement based. Oh, I skipped this one. Sprinting door bash, I had that on. Slide cancel sprint, I do leave that on because sometimes I don't want to press YY and I just slide to cancel my reload. ADS, I leave that on hold. Change zoom activation, I leave that on default. Equipment behavior, hold. Weapon mount activation, ADS plus melee. Weapon mount exit delay medium. Tactical stance activation, ADS plus down button, tactical stance behavior on toggle, prioritize interact. So that for the interact reload behavior, I do have it on prioritize interact. This is the best one that you can use. It doesn't really apply too much to this game. This setting applies more to Warzone, I feel like, but I would just get used to it in MW3, so make sure it's on prioritize interact. And the rest of the settings, if you just want to copy them to be ahead of the meta for Warzone, then go ahead. The rest of the settings are just going to be for Warzone, all right, bros? So let's go ahead and go over to the interface. So this is where you're going to be able to really customize your color customizations. So you could change the color palette if you really want to. I don't really like any of them. They kind of hurt my head if I'm being honest. So for the color filter, I do recommend putting on filter 2. It makes your game look a lot more vibrant. Color filter target, put this on both, so it makes your whole game look amazing. You can mess with the color intensity for the world and interface and just find what the sweet spot is for your monitor. Every monitor is going to be different. Everybody's going to be different. This is what I feel like works for me. So if you want to try this setting out and then adjust it from there, go right ahead, bros. Minimap shape, put this on square. You're able to see a lot more of the map instead of just having it on circle. So put this bad boy on square. And then minimap rotation, I put that on horizontal compass on, because sometimes you can use that for callouts. So for crosshairs, I do put this bad boy on static. I don't know why it was on, but static will make you feel less motion sick. So I would put this on static because it doesn't bounce a lot and it could help your centering a lot. So for the hit marker visuals, I just leave that on default. And then telemetry, this is how you can have your FPS, latency, packet loss, GPU, all that stuff popping up on screen. I do have it on essentials, and then the rest of them are just on default. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Let's aim for 20 likes. I've been asking for 15 and we've been fucking hating it, bros. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys for watching my videos. So I just wanted to plug my Twitch streams. I do stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes I stream outside of those times, but I play with viewers, everybody at 5 p.m. PST. So if you guys want to pull up, links in the description, and I hope to see you guys there. And you guys stay severely handsome. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.